Please note that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18. And in accordance with MCL Chapter 3820, we must inquire whether anyone is taping this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known.
Sandra Merritt taping the meeting as a backup for taking the minutes.
Thank you, Sandra. I will begin with roll call. Tim, Luce?
Here.
All right, seeing no other commissioners here yet, I will ask for a motion for the minutes of the March meeting.
Motion.
I will second it. I'm not sure we can officially vote for it since the folks aren't here, Tim. So if we get additional commissioners, we'll do that at the end of the meeting. If not, we can accept the minutes in our next meeting, okay? All right, moving right along in our agenda, I don't see that we have any old business. So we will move right into new business with some updates on pickleball hours, specifically for the Osterville courts. So John, can you give us an update on that?
Sure. So just want to give everyone a brief history of kind of the last 2 to 3 years in Osterville, the tennis courts that are also lined for pickleball. So during COVID, we did have a neighbor that spoke out against the hours of operation of pickleball in Osterville. We were doing 7 a.m. to pretty much dusk. They recommended, since they had young children there visiting for the summer, that we push the time to 8 o'clock in the morning. So we did. Fast forwarding to kind of last year, we did have some issues with a neighbor as well as far as the hours. So we temporarily changed the hours last year to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to kind of not disturb people in that residential neighborhood early in the morning, and then to finish at 5 o'clock to really not interrupt, dinner time hours at night in the summertime with pickleball. So we did put up a sign 9 to 5. This past winter, we did reach out to Councillor Cusick of Osterville. We kind of waited till he was on the town council because for some period of time, Osterville didn't have a representative. So we reached out to him, we sat down with him and kind of just went over the history of the courts, when they were built, kind of how everything worked and evolved into kind of changing the hours for the neighborhood. And he agreed that those hours were suitable to kind of meet the needs of the neighborhood and meet the needs of people playing. So we just kind of wanted to officially talk to the rec commission to get their approval as the advisory, commission to the recreation division, and just kind of get a thumbs up that seems to work out well. So we could put up new signage of the hours, and also new signage to say, pretty much down the road at West Villages, there's dedicated pickleball courts that are open from 7 a.m. to dusk. So if those people want to play early in the morning or later at night, they'll be given a date and a location and time so they could go play over there, and hopefully that will eliminate some of the issues we've had in Osterville. So that's all we were looking for, is just a kind of a thumbs up to bless the 9 to 5 time frame. It seemed to work out last summer. I did a lot of checking up on the facility. My son did work around the corner, so prior to picking him up at work, I would just camp out in the parking lot and just kind of watch the activity there late at night, from 6 o'clock on, and I didn't really see much pickleball. So we felt like kind of the 9 to 5 was a good target time to appease everybody. So would love to hear anyone's thoughts on those hours, but we would like to move forward heading into spring and summer to get some new signs posted. So it's officially on the fence there at the facility, so people know what the hours are.
I'd just like to update the attendance. Thank you, Brendan, for joining us. And any questions, comments from the other commissioners on the hours for pickleball in the Osterville area for the Osterville courts.
John, I actually didn't even hear what you said, the current hours, like right when you said it, it cut out. So I didn't
Oh,
hear that.
sorry. So the current hours right now as they stand with a temporary sign is 9 to 5.
Mm.
But the original sign said 7 a.m. to dusk, and then we changed it to 8 a.m. And then it didn't seem to work out for the neighborhood. So then we changed it this past summer to 9 to 5 to kind of meet both needs. And again, we reached out to the counselor Cusack, and he seemed to agree on that was a good compromise. And we just want to kind of go forward with that. And put up a new sign that has those updated official hours on the court with a sign that says dedicated courts down the street at this location in these times. So again, if anyone needs to play early or later, they can go to West Villages and play over there.
Renee, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
So you have
All right.
some input for us? You look great.
Uh,
I don't know what you
it's just a
did, but-
shirt. It's just a
No,
shirt.
the
Calm
haircut,
down. It's just a
telling
shirt.
you.
You guys will see me July, right? There we go.
Yeah.
No, I understand there's been issues at the site, and when I've been there at around like the dusk hours, it doesn't seem to be too busy. I don't really think it's going to affect many people at all. So I'm all for it.
John, I like it because one thing that we have done over the years is we do open up the commission for comments. We do listen, and this is a very responsive solution to the issues that have been raised in the past. First, it is taking the community in Osterville into account. So 9 and 5, not too early, not too late. And we have the other option over at the other courts that are 7 a.m. to dusk. And that's because they're really not very close to any homes. They're a little bit more remote, and we haven't had any any issues there. So I
Yep.
think it's
Yeah.
a good move.
Yeah, they're a little further away from homes. It's on a busy road, so the traffic can blend out the noise. Depending on the day, I do know sound does carry, so people can hear it down the road. But I think it is a good compromise. And I think people in the community will understand, and I think it will benefit players and people in their neighborhood.
So I would say going forward, you have our support. When would you like to get going with your signage and all of that after this meeting?
Correct. Yeah, it's probably tomorrow. Start reaching
Yeah.
out and getting up some signs made and putting them up, because as we know, it's spring is here and people will be out playing, and would just like to get those up as quickly as possible, so people are familiar with what the hours are going to be going forward. So yeah, as soon as we can get them, we have to order them. So I would say probably sometime by the end of this month, potentially that those signs could be up.
John, I'm sorry for making you repeat yourself. I kind of jumped in late. that's the only change though, right?
Correct.
Just
That's the only
all right,
change. Just the
sorry,
hours.
bud.
There's currently a temporary sign
Yeah,
with the hours, but we wanted to kind of take down
Yeah.
all the signs there, put up new signs,
understood.
make it official.
Okay, I'm all for it.
Thank you.
And John, I will leave it up to you, the discussion that we had about some of the other exciting things that are happening with the racquetball court usage. Is that in your report?
No, but I can touch upon it at that point if you'd like.
I think let me just set the stage a little bit. I think that everyone can see that adding racquetball, pickleball, I want to say racquetball, but pickleball, that's what I'm talking about, has been a really great addition to our town's recreation resources. And they're being used, they're being cared for, and that's always a good thing. But there are also some new opportunities for the use of our pickleball courts. And I think that we're all, kind of vying for what's best for everyone. So John has some exciting news for us about the use of the pickleball court, and it's very sensitive to the community and their usage of it. So John, can you share that exciting news with us?
Sure. So we had two people reach out to me, not too long ago, about wanting to use the Marston's Mills courts for tournaments. One is the former JV coach for the Barnstable volleyball team. Now he coaches at Clark University, but on the side, he started a pickleball tournament business. Reached out to me, wanted to do some tournaments. So we allowed him to do a tournament on Saturday and Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, and one in the middle of July. But what I did was I kind of stipulated using the hours outside of our organized free play. So traditionally Monday through Saturday from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, we have organized free play for residents and non-residents to come to the courts and play at no cost. So when this tournament comes in, they'll be coming in after those people are playing. So we're not going to be taking away anything from the community that's already set up and organized. On the rules sign that we do have at the courts, it says, as things come up, as long as the town approves permits for special events, tournaments, you name it, at any athletic facility, whether it's a baseball field or a tennis court or whatever, we have the authority to permit out those courts. And then in doing so, that will generate revenue for the recreation division and put it into account. So down the road, in a year or two, maybe 5 years, we now have funds generated to repaint the court for Lions, and we won't have to be seeking additional funds in other ways. We would have the money to pay for those sort of things by allowing some of these tournaments. They won't be, every weekend or all the time. It's just occasional tournaments here or there, just like we allow occasional baseball tournaments to come in and use McKeon or Lowell or different organizations to come run their programs. It's, I kind of take the best possible way to still give time to the public, but time for some private opportunities. And we've done that for some of these pickleball tournaments. So trying to balance public play and then some private play with some tournaments, and try to do that off hours.
Thank you, John. Are there any questions from the commissioners? All righty. I think that's real good news. So let's
No, that
move
sounds
along.
great. Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Let's move on to our next item, and this is one of my favorite items of our meeting. Not that the others aren't, but the Youth Commissioners Report. So Jaden, give us an update. I hear some great things happened since we last met.
Hey, great to be here. Unfortunately, my partner Connor, he couldn't make it today, so it's just me. But I think it was the weekend prior to last, we had our new PFAS event. We had 100 people talking about water quality in Barnstable. Mark Els, Dan Santos, Julian Sear, I believe I pronounced his last name, Keely Diggs, and the Silent Spring Institute all spoke with the dangers of PFAS. So that event, we had a great turnout, and it was a pretty big success.
Excellent. Tell me a little bit about the job fair.
The job fair went well. I think we had close to 40 businesses that showed up, and I think we broke a record for most like youth members being able to be here.
Wow, excellent. That is really, really great. So two great things. Now, what's ahead for you?
Our most next, wow, I was gonna say most next. Our next event is going to be One Love at St. John Paul, which happens on April 11th. And then the day after, the April 12th, we have One Love for BHS.
Awesome. All righty. So do you need any help from the recreation commissioners in any way other than us supporting these two upcoming events?
I believe as of now, we're all set. We're working on the youth summit as well. That's coming up quickly.
Okay. Do we have a date for the youth summit yet, or that's still under being planned?
I think that's still being planned. We might have like a date in mind, but I don't believe there's a specific one yet.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Jaden and the great work that the youth commissioners are doing?
Sounds like they're in good hands. Doesn't,
Really, really
Like-
great.
Best of
Alrighty.
luck next week. Yeah.
And I would invite myself and the other commissioners, if you are able to stop by on either of those 2 days and just show our support for the youth commissioners, please do that. I will certainly try. Thank you, Jaden, very much. All right, moving right along.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Very well. Right, moving right along, we have John Gleason and your recreation staff report.
Sure. Thank you, Renee. Just want to give everyone an update for the past month. So every year we do our customer satisfaction ratings for all our programs, and how we kind of tabulate ours for the whole year. We start in the winter of 21-22, go all the way through fall of 2022 and get the 4 seasons worth of our programs. So we tally up all the programs we do, how many kids are in the program, how many people responded to the questionnaire that we provide, and then what our total average is throughout the 4 seasons. And for this year is a 9.7 out of 10. I believe last year we were a 9.8. And so we're just down by one tenth of a point, but I do see that still as a big success because we do have 2 new program coordinators that came on board to take on some of our activities, and we were still able to uphold a pretty high level of programming. And we continue to try to strive to be better. And hopefully next year when I do this number, it will be a little higher. But overall, I thought that was pretty good. This past month, I met with other town officials, kind of discussing parking at the beaches and ways to water. That's always an interesting conversation because you hear from public about the, parking at the beaches in the off season and those sort of things. But the beach sticker does say it's required from January 1st to December 31st. But a bulk of the enforcement by another division in town is pretty much, spring, summer, and then into a little bit of fall. And then after that, they kind of, will enforce if necessary, but we only really have 1 parking lot, Millway Beach, that is really small, that is impacted because of the businesses in the area and the whale watch and some other things. So parking enforcement will go down there and look at cars without stickers, but it was just a good conversation to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page as far as parking goes in those locations. Recently met with the JFK Memorial Trust Fund Committee. Every year we meet with them and we go over our sailing program down at Veterans, and we give them a rundown of how many participants we had, how things went. But they also are a huge financial partner of ours. They give us a lot of funds to offset the costs of our program, which enables us to be very affordable when it comes to sailing. So compared to everyone else, we are at a very, very small fraction of what everyone else charges. So it's good that we can get kids out there sailing that we probably wouldn't have the chance if we didn't have a program. So they give us funds to, purchase boats, trailers, sails. They help for our staff training and certification certificates to get from USA Sailing. They give us money to give to the Cape Cod Maritime Museum for the Build the Boat program, so they can buy building materials for the boats. Anyway, we met with them a couple weeks ago. We were successful in getting the funds that we requested, and again, publicly would like to thank the JFK Trust Fund Committee for that support. We met with the Structures and Grounds Division about our community buildings. So I don't know if I've talked about this in the past, but just a year now into being the director, really starting to see the level of the use of our community buildings. And Sandra is the one in charge of helping me permit those out. She does all the work. But we get a lot of use. I don't think people realize how many permits we do. And Sandra does a phenomenal job of giving people all the information they need. But we're starting to deal with some issues with the amount of use we're getting and making sure people are following the rules. So when the next person comes in, things have been picked up. They haven't destroyed the walls or the floor of the building. So right now I'm in the midst of creating a new application for our community buildings that has a pretty concrete idea of what our policies and procedures are and what you can and cannot do in the buildings, and then a checklist at the end of the day. So when you leave, you've checked off that you cleaned off the table, you put the chairs away, you mopped up the floor. So when the next person comes in, hopefully all those things were accomplished. So when they return their key, they'll give us back this checklist, so we have an idea of how the building's being used. We do get some phone calls and emails here and there about the use, and we're just trying to straighten that up a little bit. And that seems to be going well, but we'll have something out fairly shortly on that matter. Kind of last but not least, kind of an administrative role is we just attended the Massachusetts Park and Recreation Association conference. It was held this year in Norwood. And it was, in my 19 years of experience, it was one of the best conferences that I've been to. The facility, the hotel that they had, it was great. The food was wonderful, and the classes were even better. So all of us that were attending, we kind of split up. Usually during an hour-long block, they have about 4 different classes, and we made sure we kind of had staff at almost all those blocks. So we were taking all that knowledge in, and then we are meeting as a staff on Thursday to kind of go over all the classes we intend to. So if I went to something, I could pass on the knowledge that I got to the other staff, and then vice versa. So I thought that was very beneficial to us, and we usually go every year. So again, it was one of the better ones. Aquatic wise, we've sent out 2 emails recently to all people that have not renewed their 22 beach permits, trying to get them to do it now instead of the last week of May, when they really need it. We want them to start doing it now, which will give us time to process those, so they'll have it in time. Instead of doing it the last minute, then they'll have to wait for it. So if anyone's listening, go online. We've created a video step-by-step guide, and we have a PDF tutorial guide of how to do it. So there's materials online which people can follow, or if they need assistance, they certainly can call us and we can have a one-on-one meeting if need be. But we want people to get their beach parking permits sooner than later, so they have it ready for the season. We have lifeguard trials coming up. We have one April 29th of this coming month. We have May 13th and June 3rd. Again, anyone wishing to become a lifeguard, the information's on the website. They could reach out to myself or George Noonan, our Assistant Recreation Director, who will be in charge of the lifeguards this season. If they have any questions, and we'd be glad to take on any applicants for that position. And I think if you guys could help me, I think starting soon on social media, we are going to use some of our current lifeguards. I have 2 already in as testimonials of why they lifeguard for the town. No better recruiter than our own lifeguards. So we're going to tap into that resource and get on social media, in particular Instagram, and kind of reach out to that younger generation. And get them on board. But anyone out there, their age is no factor, other than being, you do have to be 16 to be a full-time lifeguard. You could be a lifeguard 8 at 15, but a lot of communities throughout the country are tapping into their older adults. So if there is anyone in the community that was a former lifeguard in their younger years that wants to get back into it and assist us in any possible way, we'd be glad to have that. I do know we have an older gentleman trying out this year already, and we'd be glad to have anyone that's willing to do the job that wants to try out. We'd be glad to take anyone. So if anyone wants to kind of that's retired, wants to relive their youth a little bit and be a lifeguard, glad to take them. All the applications are posted online, and we need, currently right now, all positions, gate attendants, beach aides, lifeguards. And then some of our current staff will then become beach supervisors, which will take care of that role. Recreation program wise, we held our spring registration on March 7th. We are starting to really start to see, post-COVID numbers getting back to where they were, and starting to get to see kids out and engaged in all our activities, which is great. So we encourage, anyone that wants to participate in our programs throughout the year, find our information online or contact us. We'd be glad to help them out. And we do have financial aid available, and we also have other grant money available to assist them in our program. So again, we do not turn anyone away. If we need to set them up on a payment plan, help them with grant money or financial aid, we'd be glad to do that if they qualify. But our numbers and registration seem to be going well. For the first time, we did a basketball clinic for our 4th and 5th graders. Talking to one of the coaches who's also a parent of a child, sometimes, there's only so much time you have at practice and during the games. And in our program, we had a lot of children. So we wanted to spend a little more time on some skill development at a clinic and spend a little more one-on-one attention with these kids. So kind of on the weekends, we did 2 clinics for this age group, and we did have some good participation in that, which was good to see. Anytime we can get kids in the gym, touching the ball, getting more opportunities, all the better. We also started kind of like a bridge between our winter programs and our spring programs. Program coordinator Jack Kapanke did a dodgeball program, and that was for 4th through 7th graders. And in total, we had 76 participants. So a quick little program kind of in between turned out to be a good success, and the kids had a really good time with that. So that was a new addition in our programming lineup. Our Friday night social, one of their big events they went to this past month was they attended Mary Poppins at Barnstable High School. And unfortunately, I didn't go myself. My wife and one of my children went. I heard it was phenomenal. So it was a night for those participants to enjoy a night of all the Barnstable High School, and some younger kids and some teachers, I believe, were in the show, and I heard it was great. Our Saturday Sunshine participants, one of them, I believe, Timmy Dresser, participated in the state games for Special Olympics. We did have a post on Facebook and Instagram, and it blew up for Timmy. He did a phenomenal job at the Special Olympics. So if you do go on that, you could definitely spread some words of encouragement to him and any others that are going to do that in the future. It was good to see that encouragement for him. We have leisure program sign up coming up on April 11th. And currently we are looking for job applicants. So if anyone wants to become a leisure program counselor, we'd be glad to get their application, give them an interview, and if they are a fit to the program, we'd love to employ them for the summer. And at the end of the month, we also did partner with Coach Turco. Everybody knows who Coach Turco is. He did some free volleyball clinics for us. We had another one today and another one on Wednesday, but he reached out to us looking to get some free clinics for 4th through 7th graders. And the 4th and 5th grade sold out and then some. And we had close to about 20 kids today in our 6th and 7th grade group. So it's good to see volleyball participation strong in those grade levels. And that is it. So if anyone has any questions about our programs or anything, I'd be glad to answer those.
Any questions from the commissioners?
It was good to see Timmy Dresser. I actually went to school with him all through school. So I did see the post. It was awesome. I haven't seen him in probably 15 years, 20 years maybe.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they love our Saturday Sunshine. They love bowling, and these adults, they're phenomenal athletes. I know in the past I've done bowling with them when I've showed up to programs. They can bowl. I mean, they are no slouches. They are very good. They're very dedicated. They go all the time and they have a blast. And no matter what their score is, they're super proud of their achievements. And we are beyond thrilled that Timmy in particular did very well at the at the games this month. So it's a great program. They have a great time, and they really love Mickey Davies that's in charge of it. Jackie Keeney's been assisting every once in a while this past season. So again, it's just a great program, and they have a great good time, in particular with the bowling.
It's great.
So John, how many of your team, how many people went to the conference?
I want to say there was about 6 of us. Yeah, myself, George, Jackie, Kelly, Jack, and Stephen Headley. Unfortunately, Mark wasn't able to attend. Mickey was not able to attend, but I believe everyone else could. But again, we're meeting with Thursday.
To share the
Yeah,
experience.
to share the experience and the knowledge. And hopefully in the years to come, because I know I've had the opportunity is to go to the National Park and Rec Conference. Patty and I have gone together in the past, and I would love for some of our younger staff to have that opportunity. And hopefully in the coming years, we can have some of our staff go beyond just a state level and go to the national level and see what that's all about. And again, bring all the good stuff back to Barnstable, so we can either be on trend or stay ahead of trend depending on our region. Different regions do different things, and it'd be good to bring back some different ideas from different parts of the country than just kind of hear from people in Massachusetts. Even though still there's other communities that do things that we don't do, that we definitely learn from, and then vice versa. Plenty of people talk to me at the conference about especially our aquatics, about how we attract lifeguards, and Barnstable is kind of the go-to for aquatics in a lot of different capacities. So we get information from them. They talk to us, we give it to them. So it's a nice networking opportunity for all of us. But I would like to branch out and go to the national one for some of our staff in the future.
When, John, is the national held compared to the local or region?
Yeah, so our Massachusetts one every year is usually in mid to late March. The national conference usually is in like September, like mid to late September, sometimes in like maybe early October, but it's usually definitely in the fall. I want to say this coming year, I believe it is down in Orlando. But it's been in like Phoenix, it's been in Indianapolis, Baltimore. It does travel around to different capacities. I've been to it twice in Indianapolis, once in Baltimore. And I know Mark has been to Baltimore, I believe. It's just good to kind of get out there and see what the country is doing, not just through a website learning, but to actually meet these people and talk to them. And a lot of them run their recreation divisions or departments as a county. So like they would have one person that would run like all of Cape Cod in the area, like maybe in like Virginia or something like that. So it's somewhat different, but we can still learn and benefit from the things that they're doing with what we want to do here.
That really sounds like a plan, and maybe we can help make it happen this year for the national convention for our team. Any other questions?
I'm just gonna say thanks for the report, John. All
Yeah, no
right,
worries.
I couldn't fit the name. That was weird. And then it's good to hear that the numbers are going up. That's always awesome.
Yep.
Okay, Mark, can you please give us a great update on the community center?
Will do. Good evening, everybody. I'll start with the administrative stuff we're trying to spearhead this month. We're in the process of changing our membership systems here. Used to come in with just a scan tag. Now we're changing to a card that'll have a picture on it. We've received all the equipment, the new scanners, the new printing machine and so forth. Now we're in the process of bringing IT in to set all this stuff up and interconnect us so we can process and receive those memberships kind of real time and have pictures attached to them, so everybody's a little more connected on the inside here. That should be going on within the next few weeks. We should have that system upgraded. Also looking to upgrade our credit card processing machines upstairs and downstairs. We are in the process of that as well. just trying to determine which card readers are the best for here and which kind of, I guess, like interface with the programming we have. Right now, I believe all that's over at the bank, kind of in a pause mode, waiting on one of the reader things to be verified. But all that should be getting upgraded this spring while we're a little bit slower. On the ice side, our youth hockey ended. The majority of youth hockey ended this past month. There's still a couple teams and tryouts left to be had. We've received ice requests from all but one of our big three users, and that will start to be getting divvied out next week. We have our first kind of discussion with those groups as to ironing out all the times that everybody's going to want for next season. We hosted the lobster pot tournament over March 17th, 18th, and 19th. The lobster pot, it's a great tournament. It's for younger kids. The majority of all the teams are a little younger. The kids wear the little lobster stuff. We have a lobster walking around. We had over 80 teams participating, and it was a great event as always. And that kind of really symbolizes the last big hurrah for youth hockey at the HYCC. But that went on, like I said, the weekend of 17th, 18th, and 19th of March. We reached out to a new hockey group, Cape Cod Hockey. We're looking to get them in this summer. We've talked to them about some day clinics, some week-long camps or clinics. They're also going to be doing some nightly clinics for a few sessions early in the summer and then later in the summer. So that's kind of like a new group that'll be using our facility come this summer, which we're looking forward to having them come on board. With the end of youth hockey, DPW has started their kind of deep cleaning of our facility down below in the locker rooms and some of the areas down below. That'll be kind of ongoing the next few months as we cycle through things here and have things going on the rinks, but usually on one side, and then we'll shift them just so they can get in and out of every little nook and cranny and start the kind of a big cleanup. Learn to skate, our spring session began. We have over 80 participants, and all's looking pretty decent on that end. Stevens Doherty has worked hard to kind of try and revamp that program a bit and attract some skating instructors back to the HYCC. So that's been a great thing. I believe this is the third or fourth session now that we've been on. And like I said, over 80 participants, and everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. On the gym side of things, everything again wound down for our winter season in March. Looking ahead, on April 22nd, we have not partnered, but Cube New England reached out to us. They're going to be hosting a regional Rubik's Cube tournament on Saturday, the 22nd. I know right now, I believe they have something like 48 participants signed up, and it's kind of weird. I don't follow Rubik's Cube stuff, but I mean, there's like different certain games within Rubik's Cube. It's just not doing the cube, I guess. So that'll be interesting and something new for us to kind of have here. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes, and I'll let everybody know how that went. Tonight, on Monday night, we just started, they're in here right now. The Mass State Police reached out to us a few weeks ago. They have this Unity Basketball League that services a lot of cities off Cape. This is the first Unity Basketball League that they're bringing to the Cape. So right now, I believe they have 8 high school teams participating throughout the Cape. They'll be here over the next 10 weeks on Monday nights. It seems pretty top notch. Like I said, there's 6 state troopers in there right now, one of whom 6'10", and they're a little intimidating, but I think it's a great thing. And like I said, it's a new event that we'll be hosting here, and hopefully it continues year after year. I believe they've done this now for 7 years out at 6 other spots. We're now the 7th spot that they're going to be that they'll be running this out of. On the programming news, our third session of SOAR has started for the spring. We're I put in here over 40 children. I just found out today, I think we signed up our 50th. So I think that's going great. Been a lot of action here in the afternoon, and those kids are really enjoying coming over. The final session of our indoor pickleball has started as well. Over 40 participants playing 2 sessions over the week. And lastly, on a kind of a side note, it was the 17th, March 17th, we hosted the Barnstable Community Innovation School. They'd been here for the prior 6 Fridays doing a cluster program, and we hosted their celebration of that. It was the first big kind of celebration of that since COVID. So it was nice to kind of have the gym packed again on a Friday with the kids from next door, their parents, family, and friends. It was just a kind of a great atmosphere to get back to after a long wait. Other than that, on our end, like I said, it's kind of winding down here, so we're enjoying a little bit of the quiet and sprucing things up. And just as I mentioned, trying to attract some new groups and different things into the facility for this spring and into the summer.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Any questions for Mark from our commissioners?
Mark, well, when's the date of the Rubik's Cube thing? I'm curious.
April 22nd.
I might have to come by to check that out.
Definitely.
And then the state police, they're playing against the high school teams?
No, it's all high school teams. The state police basically organizes it.
Oh,
And kind of runs the league. I think it's, it's their purpose to be out in the community, kind of
Building community.
building community. And this is, like I said, the first time coming over the bridge to do it here.
are they getting like the high school teams or just, whoever from the school who wants to represent the school?
I'm not sure how many of the actual varsity players are playing on each individual high school team, but I know we have like Barnstable, Cape Tech, there's 8 local high schools, and all the contact information that I've been supplied with through the state police, it looks like it's all either the high school coaches or probably a JV coach who is assembling those teams.
Nice. Very cool.
Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you, Mark, for your report.
Thank you.
Rubik's
I would-
cubes. God.
I would say that also intrigued my interest, and I've known some kids that have been really, really great in this space, but I've never thought of it on a competitive level. So I'm very curious, and that is definitely cool and outside the box. So exciting stuff.
Tim, if you're able to make it, I want to know your time, how long it takes you to solve your first cube.
Oh,
I'm
believe
going
me,
as an observer. I don't know about Tim.
yeah, I'm not entering. I'm just interested to see it in action. Take me 3 years to do one of those things with YouTube videos.
Of course,
Wow.
of course.
Some really exciting things going on. So again, thank you, Mark. Jim did let me know he had a conflict, so we'll get an updated CPC liaison report during our next meeting. Any matters not reasonably anticipated that we need to bring up? I would just like to put out a public announcement that there will be a celebration of Mr. John Reed's life. It will be on Saturday, April the 29th at the high school, and it will begin at 3 o'clock. And it should be a great celebration for someone who lived a bigger than life life here in the community. And I'm part of a little bit involved in the program, and it's just amazing how many seeds he planted and are blooming throughout our community and beyond. So that is April the 29th, Saturday at the Barnstable High School for Mr. John Reed. Let's see, any public comment? Hearing none, Our next meeting, I do have one other announcement. It's great news, commissioners. We have finally, well, fingers crossed, we have a new commissioner who'll be joining us next month, James O'Leary, and we have someone being interviewed this month, and if all goes well, we will have 2 commissioners joining us for the May meeting, May 1st, and we will have a full commission, and I will be looking for someone to chair the Sandy Neck group, and we may invite them next time to learn more about our relationship with Sandy Neck. Without any other items, I'll ask for, if none, I'll ask for a motion to close this meeting.
I'll motion to close the meeting.
And a
I'll
second.
second. No, you
There you go,
good.
Tim.
All right, so I think Brendan, you're yes,
I'm gonna be a yes. Yeah.
Tim
Yes.
and Renee. Heck no, we have to stay together now.
I like these intimate meetings. Come on, guys.
Yes, and I look forward to everyone. Mark, I spoke with John. I'd like to come in and meet with the 2 of you, maybe next Tuesday. I'll get on mutual calendar just to talk on a few ideas for our future meetings. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday. Happy Easter.
Be Easter,
And
everybody.
see you next month. Bye now.
See you next month.
Thank you,
Guys.
Sandra.